Welcome, everybody, to the Smite podcast. My name is the Robi Dog. I'm joined today, as always, by Sabo. And today, well, we're going to talk about what we announced last week, which was going to be the skin picks for the championship skins for basically all the teams that are at the Smite World Championship. Wait, I have a question right now, Sabo. Did you pick... You only picked them for the NA and EU teams, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I did
We
the
don't
same
have
thing.
we don't have a full roster for the rest of the
Yeah, yeah.
rest of the yeah. I mean, Black Dragons. I mean, there's a skin right there. You just make Fafnir skin, make the dragon black. Well,
Yeah, or you
see,
just
off the top of
make...
my head.
Or you make a black Ao Kuang. Or a black Kukulkan.
Like Kukulkan. We can't call him Kukulkan anymore. People get
Yeah, anyway.
wait.
What?
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion. We've had that discussion before. It's just kind of a headache. What should we call Kukulkan or Kukulkan or KKK or well, we can't
Well,
say KKK.
definitely not KKK. The rest are all acceptable. Anyway, before we dive into that topic, we just quickly want to talk about some news that have come up this week. And yeah, the first thing that is on our bullet point list is going to be SpaceStation picking up a challenger team roster, and that roster, more specifically, was Xeno and the Bots, the new roster that was basically built around Xenotronics. And yeah, they're picking up that roster. And just to clarify who's in there, it was EmilZy in solo lane, Plasma in jungle, Chapo in mid, Incon as support, and obviously Xeno as ADC. So yeah.
And for clarification, they said that they're not going to release their SPL roster. So Annister and EmilZy and all of them still have a team. This is just an extra roster for SpaceStation.
Yeah, what I was wondering is, like, what I was... Go ahead.
Think like the old COG, COG Red and COG Prime rosters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking that was the plan, right? But I wasn't entirely sure if they just did it because that was what they intended to do, but they weren't sure yet whether they could actually hold on to the roster that they currently have. Right, because I think, like, if the contracts are made in any reasonable sort of way, they will end after Worlds, or, well, basically right after Worlds, right? And I don't know if they'll be able to keep the roster, right? If they've already re-signed, sort of, or if they might be looking for other offers right now. And SpaceStation is sort of picking up this Challenger Cup roster so that they can maintain a presence in Smite even if their current roster leaves them. Have you heard anything about that, or?
I mean, no, but it makes little sense for SpaceStation to pick up a Challenger Cup roster if they're going to let go of their SPL roster, because all the money's in the SPL. Like, you're getting $100,000 from Hi-Rez.
Yeah, well, the point wouldn't be that they would let go of it, just that because there would be new orcs coming in now with them basically getting free money out of the SPL, that that other orcs might be interested in joining the SPL, right? And they could offer them they could make them a better offer than something like SpaceStation could.
You're right, that's something we can see, but yeah, we imagine that might take place after Worlds when all the contracts and stuff were up, but right now, according to their Twitter page, SpaceStation plans on keeping both rosters.
Yeah, so we're really gonna have to wait and see how that develops further. And yeah,
I mean, if Jigs and Annister, and, all of them get better offers from somewhere else, I mean, I don't blame them for taking it. But if Space Station is wanting to keep the roster, it really looks like they're going to at least make an attempt to have teams in both leagues.
Yeah, and like you said, it does definitely make sense to try and do that as well. So yeah, I think that's all there really is to say about that topic. Let's move on to the next one. The next thing that was announced this week, just yesterday, was that EmilZy would be quitting school to focus on Smite and on the content that he uploads, like his streaming and his YouTube content that he makes. And yeah, he uploaded a short vlog yesterday as well, where he goes into detail about his exact reasonings behind that. And yeah, if you're interested in that kind of stuff and interested in his content in general, you can go check that video out and then maybe check some other videos of him out as well. And yeah.
It's Obey or at Obey EmilZy, or is it EmilZy Obey? Like,
it is
Twitter?
just EmilZy. Well, on YouTube it's just EmilZy. On Twitter I honestly don't know. You'll probably find him if you just type in EmilZy.
Yeah, but the guy's what, 16, 17 years old? I mean, with school, I'm imagining that's his post general education. I don't know how it works over
Yeah,
in
so
Europe, but I would imagine he's done. He's just not going to like a university or anything. He's just finishing primary school and he's done.
I can just quickly like sort of regurgitate what he said in the vlog, right? So in Denmark, and he is from Denmark, if you didn't know, in Denmark you have a sort of high school that is basically called the gymnasium, and it goes on for 3 years, which I think is the same as with American high schools, right?
No, high school here in America goes for 4.
Okay, well, there it goes for 3 years. And he entered into the second year in the summer, obviously. And the second year is sort of considered to be the most difficult one. And now he's quit, like obviously he's like 3 months into it now, and now he's quit. And if he wants to go to school again next year, he will have the opportunity to do that, like to just repeat the second year and then go into the third, and then potentially go to university.
So it's like how universities work here. If you decide to drop out in the middle of a semester, you have to wait until the next semester starts before you can restart. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, basically like that, but it's just with school years instead of only semesters, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what he's going to do now, is just focus on Smite in the meantime. And yeah, I think he also explained that he wasn't happy with his own performances in the fall, right? That he noticed that it was too much on him, right? That he was skipping school because of Smite, or that he was just not sleeping enough. And yeah, well, he's gonna look forward, or he's gonna look again, probably towards next summer, whether he's gonna continue with school or whether he's just gonna continue playing Smite.
I mean, Obey's paying him a lot of money, or he's got money coming in with Obey, and he's making, multiple appearances at LAN. Obey did pick up the first place prize for finishing first place in during this fall split. So I understand, if you've got money coming in from like your career, quitting school to focus on that career and then going back later. I mean, a lot of people over here in America do that anyway. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how punishing sort of the system in Denmark is, right? How much it affects you if you have, or if you basically come out of school 1 year late. But if it's not too punishing, right, it's not gonna really hurt him, I think. And if he notices that Smite's not gonna be enough to really offer him something he can do for the rest of his life, or that just pro gaming in general is not going to allow him to do that, then he is still going to be able to just return to school. So anyway, so I think it's not a bad decision, honestly. And yeah, if this is part of the reason why Obey manages to find success at Worlds, then it's pretty obviously not going to be a bad decision anyway.
I agree. I think if it doesn't hurt him in the economy over there in Denmark, or if there's no punishment for it, why not? I mean, like I said, you're getting plenty of money coming in from land victories and your sponsor and all that, your stream. I mean,
Yeah.
If it's not going to hurt you later on, then do it. You're a big boy, I guess. I mean, 17 years old is probably considered grown up.
Yeah, and I think EmilZy is a smart guy, right? He is known to be sort of one of the more cerebral. That's a difficult word to say. Cerebral players in the SPL overall, and I think if he's making a decision like that, considering how his intelligence is in the game, which obviously doesn't always translate necessarily, then I think he's thought it through and come to the conclusion that it's the best idea under the given circumstances. So yeah, I have faith in him. Basically, that's what I really want to say.
I just hope he realizes that long term, for his long term future, Smite's probably not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
So this is all good in the short term, but if he realizes that he has to start planning for the long term, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, and I don't even think I think because of the type of player he is, right? The more cerebral guy, I think there is a chance that he finds a home in a different game as well after Smite. After Smite's popularity sort of fades away, I think he has the skills necessary to make it in a second game, in another MOBA, potentially. And esports right now is looking like a growing market, or well, it is a growing market. If that growth can sort of sustain itself going on, then there should be positions for people like him in other games as well. So yeah, I'm not too worried. Anyway, can we move on?
Yeah, I've said everything I wanted to say.
Okay, good. Yeah, moving on to the next topic that we have. The next topic is that obviously you already said it. Black Dragons have qualified for the Smite World Championships. The Brazilian team, they won their respective league, the BGL, which I think stands for Brazil Gaming League, and they are now going to be representing Brazil at the Smite World Championship at HRX.
Yeah, and their prize for winning Brazil is, guess what? Facing the two-time defending champions in the first game.
Well, they're going to have a second game at least afterwards.
Yeah, it's the first. It's a double elimination, basically a double elimination round in that first round before we get into the quarterfinals and stuff. So, yeah, maybe their season won't be a one-game trip to Worlds. EmilZy's looking like one of the teams to beat. Maybe, in my opinion, one of the three teams that has a shot at winning Worlds. But yeah, tough break for Black Dragons for getting EmilZy in the first game. But it's still, congratulations to a team that we've grown used to seeing this year, haven't we? I mean, this is their. I mean, they were at DreamHack. They did beat them 2-0 at DreamHack in the best of three. They did in the spring finals land in Atlanta. I believe they took Eager to 3 games, so they beat Eager once, and that was the old Eager with Zapman and Aurora and the best and all of them.
Yeah.
It's a team we're used to seeing. It's a team that it's a league, a market in Brazil that is growing. Not just in Smite, but in all of esports. Brazil is really starting to step forward in that market. So it could be it could be an interesting team to watch, but I wouldn't if you're a Black Dragons fan, I'm sorry, but you're going to probably be disappointed at Worlds because if they make it to the quarterfinals, I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, I can see them making it to the quarterfinals, right? I think Scylla Esports, which is the other team that they would be facing in that second elimination game. I think those are. I think that's the Australian team, right? Or am I wrong about that?
I think you're right.
No, I think they're Southeast Asian. They're Southeast Asian.
Southeast Asian.
So yeah, and that's a new region, right? Southeast Asia, whereas Brazil's already an established one. And considering that, I can see that they have a chance to win that game and make it to the quarterfinals.
But like we said, it is double elimination, and you've already got one loss with losing the energy in the first game. Assuming they lose the energy in the first game, right?
Yeah.
Going into the Scylla Esports game in the second round where it's just one game and you have to win. I mean, it's not really a given that Black Dragons will come out of that, but I think maybe I misspoke. I won't be surprised if they make it to quarterfinals, but I wouldn't if they make it to semifinals, I'll be surprised because that means they'd have to have beaten Obey, or no, they'd have to have beaten. Was it Rival or E United? Yeah.
It's a Rival. Like, they would have to beat Rival or both Energy and Luminosity, most likely, to make it there. And yeah, that seems a little bit unlikely.
But I forgot who was on this. It's Marcel's, P-Bay. Who else is it?
It is Nan, Kliss, and Oship.
And Oship, yeah. And Marcel's and P-Bay are the dual lane, right?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I'm going to need to look into them before Worlds, but right now I haven't really.
I know Marcel's is the hunter and Oship is the jungler. That's the only two I'm certain of. But yeah, P-Bay, Nan, and Kliss, or Kills, however he says his name.
Well, he writes it with K-L-I-C. Or K-L-I-C, I guess, for you.
Kliss. Yeah, okay. But still, it's a team that we have seen plenty of times this year. Yeah. We'll probably see more next year because more international lands on the schedule for Season 5. I imagine Black Dragons will be a team that we get to see plenty of next year as well. So, yeah.
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Looking forward to seeing what they can do at Worlds and see. We're assuming that Energy's going to beat them, but we also assume that Dignitas was going to Worlds, so we can't really assume anything at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Energy has a bit of a better history at performing at Worlds than certain members on Dig do at performing at Super Regionals, right?
That was an old roster. They don't have Demi anymore. They have that new guy, Maniac.
Well, Maniac.
I'm making shit up. But we can't assume, right? Black Dragons. They were at last year's Worlds, right? I don't know if they were under the same sponsor, but Nan and people at last year's World.
Yeah, I think so.
And so they have plenty of international LAN experience coming into this. They beat Eager once in the best of 3, so there's they didn't win the best of 3, but they took one game in that best of 3, so they do have a moniker of success against the SPL teams, and so
so
not a foregone conclusion.
Okay, so I can tell you, they were at last year's Worlds. Well, 4 of them were under the name INTC or INTZ, depending on where you're from. And yeah, the guy that wasn't there was... Wait, let me check. Okay, so Nan was their jungler back then, so that makes... Oh shit, the new guy. And Marcel's was in mid,
I know.
and they had
I know one
Sakamoto
of
as a hunter.
I know one of them had issues with his passport, and that's why he couldn't make it last year.
Okay.
I don't know who it was, but it was a passport issue. He couldn't get something was wrong with his passport and couldn't get into Atlanta. So they had to replace him with one of the different players from the second place team.
Yeah. So let's hope that visas work out fine this time around, and that we see this full roster competing there, and well, seeing how far they can make it. Yeah. On to the next topic, I guess. Well, just quickly to be said as well, we now have 9 teams that are qualified for the Smite World Championship. Just the LATAM spot is still open, from what I know.
They're supposed. I think they're supposed to determine that this weekend. I think the Latinum qualifier is this weekend. Not 100% sure, but I think they said that a couple weeks ago at the Super Regionals that by the time like the 20th rolls around, we'll know who all 10 teams are. I think it's this weekend.
Yeah, it has to be in that case, because the 20th is on Monday. And yeah, they're going to be facing Elevate in the first round, so also not much of a reward there. But I don't think any match is really a reward, if you look at it from that sort of point of view.
I mean, it's high res expos. This is Smite World Championships. Like, nothing's a reward. You have to beat the best teams, right? So there you go.
The reward is being there, I guess.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't want to show up and play 2 games and go home. I mean, I spent like all that money getting here. I want to go in,
Well, they bring you in for free, from what I understand. Like Hi-Res is paying for it, so you're not paying money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying though. Like only getting to play two matches does sort of suck. And yeah, but like the thing is though, even if we had proper groups, right, we would still have sort of the same thing unless we make it round robin, and you don't want to make it round robin because round robin is fucking terrible. So if you're left if you're left in like those double elimination groups, like we are basically.
That reminds me of a question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about Italy not making the World Cup for the first time in 60 years? I know it's not your home country, but like that's a big deal.
Yeah, Switzerland did make it, man. So I don't really care about Italy not making it. I just feel a bit bad for the Italian dudes because
didn't they win it like 10 years ago?
Yeah, in 2006 they won in Germany.
Yeah, and now they're not going for the first time in 60 years.
That's crazy, yeah. Well, that's how it goes sometimes, I think. Wait, let me think about something real quick. So in 2008. The European Football Championship was in Switzerland and Austria. And Switzerland was there, obviously, because host countries are always invited. But we just got stomped in the groups. I think we had last place in the groups. So that's fun as well. Yeah. Sometimes, in football or in any sport, you get stuff like that where you just...
At least you got your knives.
Yeah.
Your army knives.
And our cheese and our chocolate.
Swiss chocolate's actually pretty damn good. I love that shit.
Yeah. So
but back to Smite. Let's go.
Wait, no, one more question. Have you ever tasted Swiss cheese?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I don't know if it's an authentic Swiss cheese, but like the stuff we get over here from the white off white cheese with the holes in them. Yeah, what we call Swiss. I don't know if that's the same thing.
So Emmentaler. That's the one with the holes in it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you like it?
not really though.
Yeah. I think cheese is a bit more up to taste than chocolate necessarily. Right, because
All right, the thing with cheese is everybody has a different preference.
yeah,
So even though I don't like Swiss cheese, doesn't mean somebody else is not gonna like Swiss cheese. Like I like mozzarella, but there's a lot of people who hate mozzarella.
yeah,
Same thing with pepper jack, cheddar, American cheese.
yeah. I'm pretty sure I would
Whatever
hate
your
American
preference.
cheese. Just because I wouldn't be used to it at all, right? Like Swiss cheese is a lot different from the sort of American cheeses that I've had. And again, I've never been in America, so I also haven't probably not tasted authentic American cheese. But let's not discuss cheese anymore. You were right. We should have gone back to Smite. So yeah,
Hey, I was just talking about the Italian football team. You're the one who brought up Swiss cheese.
well, you brought up that we still had our knives, and then I brought up some more traditional Swiss stuff.
Okay,
So
okay. Let's
I still blame it
potato
on you.
potato.
Yeah,
We'll agree to disagree on that.
yeah. There's nothing to agree on. Like, let's just move on and forget this entire discussion. Anyway, next piece of news, just something real quick, and the only time we'll talk about any of this, the console world's teams out of NA and EU. I don't know if there's any other teams that are going there, are also qualified now, and they're going to be strictly business, Astral Authority, Obey Alliance, Myth Gaming. So yeah.
I'll say this about the console teams. Watching them this weekend in like the 2 or 3 matches that I watched, there's a lot more emotions going on with the console team. A lot of the guys playing for the console team, when they win, there's a lot more celebration than you would see on the SPL. But I don't know why the reason is, but it's actually pretty entertaining to watch the teams react when they win. And then probably what will go down as one of the better console league finishes is Game 2 against it was Kaz Esports against Sword Gaming, and I believe the storyline goes Kaz hadn't won a game all weekend, and Sword just needed that one win to make it to Worlds to replace Myth Gaming.
Oh yeah.
But Sword had like 6 or 7 fire rounds. Tried to break the base for something like 15 minutes with all 3 Phoenixes down, and Kaz just kept defending after attempt after attempt, and they looked really good at doing it. Kind of like what the Game 2 of Dignitas and Rival was last weekend.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But it was quite impressive to see. It was probably one of the better console finishes that we're going to get, and so it was like I was laughing the entire time because it was funny to watch.
Yeah, if I ever watch a single, like a console Smite game again, I will make it this one. I promise you that. And yeah.
It was a good one because when Kaz took down the Titan, they were just swarmed by the guys from Myth Gaming because they just basically sent Myth Gaming to Worlds. They were just there were like 11 or 12 other players from different teams just jumping on them at their computer.
Yeah.
because
That's like,
they just sent that team to Worlds and just knocked off Sword, kept Sword from going to Worlds. So
yeah, similar to what Orbit did last year, right, at Super Regionals, where
yeah,
they defeated Flashpoint, I think it was, to send Luminosity to Worlds. Yeah.
it's like when you see in basketball, like guy hits a game-winning shot and he's just mobbed by the rest of his team. That's what basically what happened. But it wasn't it wasn't the rest of their team. It was everybody else in the room.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw FDOT's behind the scene looks last weekend of the Super Regionals and how they had everything set up. It was basically Team A and Team B were setting across the aisle from each other playing, and then there was a wall separating them with the TV on it, and then the rest of the players there from the other teams watching that TV, and like there was very little separation between the teams that were actually playing and then the rest of the teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw that or not, but that's
Yeah, I did,
basically
yeah.
how they had it set up.
Like around Super Regionals, I watched some stuff. Yeah, like that's an interesting it's an interesting setup in general, right? And it's especially interesting because stuff like this can happen where you just run to a team after they've won and saved your asses.
Well, it was funny because there was some trash talking going on. I know last weekend during the Super Regionals for SPL, where yeah, basically what we said last week, Energy screaming and getting hyped about their plays, being across the room from Dignitas affected Dignitas.
Yeah.
And we saw in the finals between Luminosity and E United, Mass tries to smack talk, and then something happens, and he says, "Oh, never mind, I'm sorry," and then PBM fires back at him across the room.
Uh,
You can't do that at Worlds. Like you
Well, you
got that
can.
entire room full of people. I mean, you can yell at each other, but what are the chances that the other team's going to hear you? Because you're not across from each other, and two, you got an entire room full of people. Like it's like 2,000 people in that room talking, so you're not going to be able to hear the trash talking so much.
You just have to shout really loudly. You know? I'm sure Maniac can do it. Not sure about any other
Yeah,
people.
Adapting might be able to do it. I mean, have you seen
Yeah, true.
Adapting go on crazy?
Yeah, just think about it. Energy's trash talking capabilities are massive, with both Maniac and Adapting. And before the game, you have Raffer.
Adapting doesn't even need to be heard. You just have to put him on camera and watch. Have the other team look at him when he's on camera, raging,
Yeah.
shaking and yelling and throwing his hat in the air and
Yeah.
pissed off the mono because he's bald now.
Yeah. Not sure what else I have to say about that topic, honestly. Well, console Smite, we gave it an entire 4 minutes, and half of it was spent talking about trash talking in general. So let's move on to the last little point that we want to discuss, which is Discordia, the new goddess. She's been out since last Monday, and yeah, have you played her? Because I haven't.
It's funny. I've gotten to pick her in the lobby a couple of times, but then somebody either disconnects or leaves the lobby, and I don't ever really get to play her. Because the next time I get into the lobby, somebody instant locks her. Gotten to play her once. I've gotten to play her once in the past week, and I like her ultimate and how it has that CC chain at the end, where it's not really a CC chain. They're just kind of like you hit one person, and after a short period of duration, if somebody is in that area, they get it too, and
Yeah.
it kind of the laughing and like it's very cool that they added that laughing thing onto it. You're filling up the enemy team's BGS system, so that's very cool. But from what I can think of, when I think of her playing her damage is a little bit hard to confirm, a lot like Yanis's is. Uh, I don't like the area of effect that is basically a circuit taunt. Like whoever's in that square on her two turns and fights each other, even works on minions. That's pretty easy to hit, but the ricochets after the one, where she throws out the star ball and it goes a short
Yeah.
distance and bounces and shatters, like the ricochet effect. It's a little hard to confirm. It's very it's like a whole Yi ricochet, but as you have to learn it. It's not like it's like a whole Yi and a what's his name? What's the turtle? Kuzenbo. Yeah, it's like their ricochet, but since it doesn't take the ricochet doesn't happen immediately. It takes after a short time after it bounces. You have to learn how to use the ricochet off that bounce or after that, and so it kind of throws it off. But her damage is just a little hard to confirm, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the from being hit by the one repeatedly, I think the one by itself does a lot of damage already. Especially the two into the one combo, which I think is
it's
pretty easy to land.
It's a lot of damage, but it's the ricochet after that does a lot of additional damage, and that's what's hard to confirm.
Yeah, I just think it's not necessary to really confirm it right now because of how much damage the one just on the initial hit does. And with that, I think she has good enough damage. Could be higher, but I don't see that it's the most necessary thing, sort of.
Yeah, that one is incredible for wave clear. Like,
yeah, totally.
Like you can clear the wave at level 6 with her because you get that third point in the one, and it's just.
Yeah, and I found when you. Go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, what I found really is that the 2 seems really easy to confirm on people that aren't just going to instantly dash away, and it's a bit difficult to sort of dash in response to it or to leap in response to it because the wind up seems really short. Have you had the same experience? Just that specific thing?
It comes out really quick, and so if they're not like dashing away like a Toth or an Agni would, it's a very short cast time, so it comes out really quick. So
yeah,
unless the opponent is on their toes and are ready to dash out immediately, you're gonna catch them. That's the thing that I found most difficult is catching more than one person in it.
yeah, definitely.
Because that's where most of the damage on the 2 comes from. It's like a very small tick of damage if you actually hit one god. It's them turning on each other and fighting like a Circuit would.
Yeah.
That adds the additional damage to that. So.
Yeah, just what I was going to say. Go ahead.
If your opponent's smart and they spread out, what? They just gotta be smart about it. They can avoid a majority of the damage on that too if they spread out.
Yeah, I think that as well. Like the way you're normally supposed to position, right, is like far enough apart that you're not going to be hit by the 2 as multiple people. Just the main combo she has, right, the 2 into the 1. I think as far as poking is concerned, it's really good. And
Really
right
good
now
way
I,
to
I
put it.
expect her to be fairly viable, just due to that. And the ult, obviously, in a big team fight can be very disruptive.
The one thing, my one issue with her ult is it's not like a confirmation ult, like a Kraken or a Toph ult or or
Or Nox
some
ult.
big major, yeah, big major confirmation ult that you most most of the time you see out of the mid laners and the high, high levels of Smite, the professional Smite, the challenge drop scene. Like
Yeah.
the fact that she doesn't have confirmation that that's not a big confirming burst ult like a Toth ult would be, or a Vulcan ult, or think of any other huge circle ults or straight line ults like a Ross Knight. Like, yeah, it's she lacks that burst damage on her ult to give her that confirmation, that easy confirmation. So
Yeah, her
that's the one
ults.
thing I can see her not being played in the SPL.
Yeah, she definitely has a different playstyle to most mages, I think, in that she's more built around that poke aspect that she does with her 2-in-1. And I think she's hard to match in that regard, but the ult definitely has its drawbacks, right? With it being like the entire damage is on the back end of the ult, right? And if that is the case, then it's fairly easy to avoid if you have any sort of way to counter it through like a Nem shield or through a what are other good options? Through just Aegis, through Gap Shield, through any sort of that thing, or even a Capri revive, right? You can time it to, you can have it go off. You can put it on someone before they get blown up because the damage is delayed, and also it's just fairly easy for the rest of the team to walk out of the area of the damage because it still has a quite a long windup, and even if you manage to secure someone for long enough that you can actually throw the ult onto someone in a group of people where
It does. So you can bounce it off walls from like mid lane or uh
yeah
through the jungle somewhere like a Hoagie would. But
yeah
yeah, the damage is all on the back end, so you can easily beat it or dodge it if you see it. It's not placed right to where it's almost instantly on you when it hits the wall. But
yeah I think for her to stay at a reasonable distance, right, where she is safe herself, she's gonna have a hard time hitting it on people who aren't CC'd in some way, just because the projectile is also fairly slow moving compared to other ults we've mentioned, right? The Faf ult is a lot faster, for instance, and the Nox ult as well. So yeah, I think her playstyle is going to be as a poke mage, but I think she does that well, almost sort of unmatched as far as other mages are concerned. Yeah.
think about the other poke mages, and the one that comes to mind for me at least is Toth. And
Yeah.
has a lot of good poke in his kit, but he's still got that gigantic, Super Saiyan ultimate that can one shot you if he hits you at the right time. And she doesn't have that, so
Yeah. I think what she has over Faf though is she has a more CC, or more easily confirmable CC than he does, and then she sort of does her damage a
yeah,
lot
because
quicker than he does as well. Right, or
he
poke.
only has the one. He only has that one CC, and it's just almost straight line
Yeah.
route. I mean, it's a big square for her, so yeah, it's pretty easy to confirm CC for her. So yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give you that.
Yeah, you can dodge a Faf stun, and you can dodge especially the Faf one if you're not stunned. And even if you're stunned, I think he's only gonna get one or two out before you're unstunned again and can dodge it again. And that's not really possible for her if you get trapped in the square. And if that is the case, then you're just gonna eat the one's damage, and that's gonna probably take off half of your health combined if you're a squishy. So she feels like a good poke mage, and I'm excited to see if someone brings her out at some point in time, right? I'm not sure if she's going to be available for Worlds already. She should be. And yeah, we might see her there. We'll see.
They're going to need to make a couple of changes, I think, before we see her at Worlds. But yeah, they got a month and a half, almost 2 months before Worlds, so they have plenty of time to tweak her a bit.
Yeah. And yeah, outside of purely the balance aspect, I think she's fun. She looks fun to play. I haven't played her yet, so I can't really judge.
She's a little bit of annoying, but that's mostly on her voice pack.
Yeah, I guess. I like the kind of general theme they went for with her, right? She's sort of just annoying.
The thing is, the Japanese theme skins, the Hajirku Neat and the Daji, the Doge, or so Doge Daji, I don't know what it's called, but those types of skins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese anime skins, I could see her getting a couple of those a skin of her own for that.
Yeah.
I mean, her personality on her voice pack fits it, so I could see it happening. Foxy Amaterasu is another one that I can't remember what they were calling those skins. There's a theme to those skins. I can't remember what they were calling it.
Let me think real quick. Kawaii.
Kawaii, yeah. The Kawaii Bastet too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kawaii skins. I can see her getting a Kawaii skin.
Yeah, it would sort of fit, but it also sort of wouldn't, considering her lore. But it's a skin, so. But yeah, I like that she's basically just doing random shit to annoy people, because that's just who she is. She's basically a troll.
Thor's a rock star, so we'll have a rock star skin for Thor.
Yeah.
I mean, it was freaking. I don't know. Who was it? Ganesh can have a mammoth skin, I think. Daji can have or not Daji, but Discordia can have a Kawaii skin.
Yeah, we should make a Kawaii Daji as well. Just because why not? It wouldn't fit at all, but that would be good.
No, it wouldn't fit at all, but I tell you what, stripper poles and sparkles came to mind when you said that.
And just think about this, right? Some people consider those kawaii skins to be torture. So Dashi still fits.
I think Daji would have a great pirate skin if they wanted to give her a pirate themed skin.
Have pirates tied people to... Yeah, they did tie people to masts, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. Let's do it. Like, she just throws out ropes instead of chains. Then they get tied to the mast. I could see that working, yeah. Would she, like, smear rum on her claws for her one, and then just light them up?
Yeah.
That would work as well, yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what else I was going to say about Discordia. I think, oh yeah, one thing just real quick. Her free is a bit annoying in one regard, but I don't know if she needs to have it that way for her to be balanced right now, because I can't really judge her balance right now because I've only played a couple of games against her. But her free, when you hit her in her stealth circle, right, that she puts down, it doesn't like permanently unstealth her for the rest of the ability's duration, which is kind of weird. And I think she's killed me once, at least once, because of that, because I hit her, I was sort of expecting her to be unstealth, but couldn't hit her again because she was still stealthed, and then she killed me.
That's where I think she might be a little bit... There might be a little bit of counterplay with certain gods. I mean, like a Wukong 2, the Master's Will, that's a small circle that she hides in, so...
Yeah, still.
Stuff like that, the Vulcan 3 where it's just like a knockoff, the meatball, the like in that stealth there's a little bit of counterplay, but yeah, if you're saying that she could, as long as she's in that circle, she's stealth. I mean, there's that, but like,
And I'm not sure
there's a
how it
little
works
bit
for other gods, to be honest. Like, if you hit Nuwa in her fog, does she get unstealthed completely?
yes. Well,
So yeah.
no, I think she has to act like she has to throw out an attack before
Oh,
she's unstealth.
oh,
I'm
I
not quite
guess.
sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot like Loki, where you see the number come up if you hit him while he's stealth, but he doesn't come out of stealth until he acts or the timer runs out. So
Yeah, like before I thought about it, I was
that's,
pretty sure that Nuwa was unstealthed if you hit her, but right now I'm not that sure anymore. And if she's
I mean,
not, what?
I used to build Mystical Mel in season 3 when I played against the Loki in solo lane because
Yeah,
the tick numbers would let me know if he was close and was going to try to ult me. But
yeah,
I don't think if I remember right, it didn't bring him out of stealth. It just showed me the numbers to let me know where he
yeah.
was.
Loki has stealth. Like Loki's stealth's not broken by damage. That's something I know. Ao Kuang's is, and Izanami's is. Not sure about Nuwa, and Discordia's also isn't. So I'm I, I'm not sure right now if I would like it to be broken. Like it depends on her general balance. It's just a bit annoying. Like when you hit her once and then you can't find her again. But I guess that's also sort of on me for being an idiot. And yeah, it's fair enough.
I
Okay.
mean, the circle is pretty small, so they might not change it. I mean, it's not a gigantic circle like New
Yeah.
Walls is, where she has plenty of move around them or plenty of room to move around in if she's trying to avoid you. Like circle, Discordia's circle that she can hide in is very small, so I
Yeah.
don't know if they'll change it because of how small it is.
Yeah. Not sure if they'll change it because I'm annoyed with it. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that was the case, Loki wouldn't be in the game because there's too many people already annoyed with him.
Yeah, but see, I'm not annoyed with Loki, so if they're
You're one of those.
exclusively listening to me, Loki would still
You're
be
one
in
of
the game.
you're one of those people, huh?
Well, I played him once after the adventure came out, just because I wanted to see how his new skin looks like, and I think I did pretty well.
Yeah, I
So
think that new
maybe I was
skin's
born to
pretty
be a
cool.
Loki main.
I think that new skin is pretty cool. Kind of looks like the Uller, assassin Uller skin. I think
Yeah,
it would look good with that kind of theme
except
to it.
darker.
Yeah. Speaking of skins, though, shall we move on?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. Let's move on to the championship skins. And yeah, I'm not sure how you prepared for those. I just made a lot of notes about potential skins for the different teams, for different gods, obviously, and for the reasons why. So yeah, how did you do? Did you just select one for each team?
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what I did. When I was thinking about it, I was thinking about the color schemes of each team,
Yeah,
the players on each team, and what which they preferred. The fact that all of the championship skins have been mages so far, I kind of tended to you know go away from the mages. So guys like Pretty Prime, I would I didn't give Obey's skin to a mage because of Pretty Prime. I did, like not because of Pretty Prime, but because of it's a mage. So Pretty Prime didn't factor into the theme of my skin simply because most mid laners play mages. But yeah, that's basically how I did it.
okay. So let's do it this way, alright? I'm gonna present my sort of top pick first, then you present yours, and then we go over the
At a
ones
time.
that I have left.
We'll do one team at a time.
Yeah, yeah. But like, just to explain it to you, I have like 6 skins, or at least 4 skins per team that I would like, or that I think would be possible. So yeah, let's
Okay.
go. Let's. I just tell you mine first, and you can tell me yours. So for rival, the one that I have at the top is Fafnir, and it will obviously be a skin for Kalas. And I think as far as the sort of design goes, you can integrate the sort of rival swag in a lot of different ways. Like obviously Fafnir is already sort of purple in his default skin, right? And he has a lot of circles, like his one's a circle in both stances, and his ult's a circle as well. So you can include the rival logo there. What you can also do is you can just have it displayed when he uses his 2 on someone. Right? Normally you have the dwarf sort of stomping on their shoulder. You can have the rival logo instead and have it sort of move in a way. And you can have voice lines like integrated for the different members of his team, depending on which role or which class of god you're playing, right? So you would have something that sort of relates to votes when you use your 2 on a hunter. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you went for there. I was kind of along the same thought path of giving, Kalas the Fafnir rival skin. But in order to be different and to just throw something out there, because we both pretty much had Fafnir for the rival, I'm just going to say I think Raw would look good with the rival skin. I mean,
Yeah, also on my list.
the purple and the black and white. I mean, the big circle heel. Just have the rival logo under the circle, much like the Alienware skin has the alien head on it. And then the Raw's head, you can put the Reaper mask, that Reaper logo, kind of integrated onto his head, where you don't see his face; it's just the black eyes in the hood.
Mhm.
So and obviously that's Wolfie, that's a theme skin for him. So yeah. I know I said I wasn't going to go with Mages, but I did go with Fafnir, and since you already said Fafnir,
Yeah.
I'll just throw that one out for other skin, another idea.
Yeah, I had Ra on my list as well. You could also make a great pun with his name, because, rival.
Rival!
Exactly. You just swap the A and the I. It would be brilliant.
I also thought about giving Deathwalker a Bologna skin, but I don't know. The one thing I couldn't think of with it is how to do the different weapons. I mean, the shield and sword on her one, just having the rival logo on the shield, that would be cool, but it's the hammer and the 3 and all the other ones that I couldn't think of for Bologna, so I wrote that off, but somebody at Harris might have a better idea than me.
Yeah, Bologna, that's actually not someone I have on the list, but yeah, I could see them doing that. Like you could have, especially the old, you could have a lot of things that are rival themed, right? Both the flag that she puts up and the ground having a giant rival logo as well. And I think you can do the same thing for the hammer swing. And yeah, I don't know how you would do it on the I can see them putting the rival logo somewhere small on the hammer, on the side of the hammer as well, where it would be really difficult, like you said already, would be, or where it would be difficult would be for a Scourge, I think.
Yeah,
but
the Scourge.
Outside of that, it should be possible as well. And yeah, the other gods that I have on my list for rival, one is Erlang Shen, because it's one of Deathwalker's best gods, And the issue of him is he's obviously an AA based god, or fairly heavily AA based, but he still has a big circle attack, right, where you could display the rival logo. I think you can. Yeah. What?
The pin. The circle 2. That's called a pin.
Yeah, and what they've already done on other skins is put something on the back of the turtle. So you could put the rival logo there as well. And yeah, for the ults, you could probably do something as well. And yeah. And one good thing about Erlang, that's probably not necessarily the case for Ra, and maybe also not for Bellona, is that I think Erlang's gonna still be a good pick at Worlds, right? Because even though we're going into a sort of Guardian meta, I think Erlang's one of the warriors that is at the top of the warrior chain, and so he should still be brought out, and he should still have an impact there. And when you look at the gods that have received World Championship skins, it's always been ones that have been good at that respective tournament, right? When you think back to Coxilla, which is the prime example, she did literally win COG the World Championship.
Yeah.
And then you look at Epsilon and Energy Chronos, both also very good at that respective tournament. So if you're gonna go for that as well, then I think Erlang would also make sense. And yeah, I think all of those gods that we have mentioned don't already have a team skin, right?
That's one of the reasons why I didn't give Elevate skin to Ares.
Yeah, we'll get to that later on. Yeah, the other gods on my list, just to quickly go over them, would be Ram, and Ram obviously has the issue that he already has a skin. But outside of that, I think other issues are Ram as an AA-based god doesn't really have a lot of circles where you can display the rival logo, and I still think though he could look good in purple, which I would like to see. And yeah, the more gods would be a couple for EmilZy, right? You could make one for Thor, you could make one for Odin, which are basically the two main gods that I thought about. Or you could make one for Isis, for Wolfie again. Because Isis also has a lot of circle attacks, or well, mostly her ult, but it works, and Dispel Magic. Or, last but not least, Sylvanas for Kalas again would be another possibility. Yeah. Those are my rival skins.
Yeah, I don't know how Sylvanas. Don't know how good Sylvanas would look with that kind of purple black theme, but yeah, I understand why you want to give multiple options for multiple players. I get that much. Yeah, I think with the ROM skin though, with the rival logos, I mean, really the only place that I could think that you would put it in his kit would be on the ultimate circles when you land. You just have them progressively, the logo progressively gets smaller as you take more shots.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the big thing that speaks against most sort of hunter skins, and specifically Ram, because he is, well, he has probably the least circles out of any hunter when you think about it.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, shall we move on to the next team?
Yeah, which team you want to go to next?
Well, next on the list, like I sorted them based on seeding, right? So my next team is United because they're the top seed out of NA.
Okay. That works for me.
So the god that I have at the top of the list is Coquelin, because both Benji and Scream can play him very well, right? And especially Benji it's sort of a great pick for him as well. And there's also a lot of ways that you can sort of blend in the logo. I think you can put it on the ult and the leap, most specifically. You can probably also integrate it in some way into the rage form, right? Having sort of transform and get a United tattoo on the back or whatever. And yeah, I think also, again, that he should be a good pick at the World Championship because, again, one of the top sort of warriors that we have in the game.
Yeah, I went the other direction with the United skin. I went with Ho Yi. Obviously, there's enough circles on his in his kit to display the logo. Uh, it's one of Panda Cat's better gods. We've seen him fight multiple times throughout the year. It was probably his featured god for the fall split. I think
Yeah.
How Hoagie has that one eye with the half sort of helmet across the other, and you can do kind of like a red, white, blue logo color, or like an half patch or half skull, and you can like maybe a leather jacket on him, or like a kind of like a jacket Epsilon Soul has, the Letterman jacket, and you have the United logo on the back and stuff like that. I mean, I thought that would look pretty cool for him. And
Yeah.
like I said, obviously, in a lot of circles to put the logo in his kit. So
Yeah, I can see that making sense as well. He wasn't in my top list here, but he was one of the ones that I was also considering among quite a lot of others. And yeah.
yeah, I went with one, and you picked like 5 or 6 for each team. I just said one that would probably be the best option. So.
Yeah, I couldn't decide. Well, I could decide because I have one at the top, but I thought we had to do more. So I did more. Yeah. Next on my list for United would be RTO as well, because RTO, she has a lot of...
RTO.
What?
I thought about RTO.
Yeah.
Because Polar Bear Mike brought it up that his goal was to win World, so he could get a E United RTO skin, which I think is pretty damn ingenious with the bear just making a white polar bear. Polar Bear Mike's got his own skin. But I couldn't think, like, there wasn't not enough there for me to. I'm not as creative as some of these guys that have high res are, but there was not enough there for me to really make something up with RDO. I left her off. I thought Hoagie would work the best, but I considered RDO too. So yeah.
Yeah, just again, I think there's easy ways to sort of integrate the United design, right? She has 3 circles basically with the root, with the stun, or well, with the cripple and with the stun, she has 2 circles, which where it should be fairly easy to sort of put that in. And the big plus for her sort of is that she's probably going to be a great pick at the World Championship, right? Just because she's a strong guardian in general, and because we're entering into a Guardian meta anyway, or it looks like we are in the Guardian meta anyway. So I expect her to be a good pick as well, which could sort of define the general course of the tournament as well. Right? I think if United ends up winning, a lot of it could be down to good RDO play as well. And yeah, 2 other gods that I have that probably aren't going to be seeing too much play at Worlds unless we see big changes to them are Awilix and Artemis for Scream and Panda respectively, right? We saw a lot of Awilix out of Scream in the fall split before she had her nerf to the feather step. And again, there's a lot of ways you could integrate the United logo there. The feather step itself is a circle where you could sort of have it imprinted into the floor on feather stepping. And the ult has an indicator showing that someone can be pulled, right? You can turn that into an E United logo as well. And then the Suku Leap would also be a place where you could put it. With Artemis, you would only really have the free Suppress the Insolent. If you didn't know, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Artemis, and I like Panda on Artemis.
The Catadonium roar, every time she stuns somebody, could leave an E United bruise on them or something. I don't.
You could just turn it into a tiny polar bear, and just have her say PBM go, or just Mike go. Then she sends Mike to fight you.
Just a miniature polar bear mic in the game.
Yeah. Uh, and yeah, other
Okay,
gods. What? You were gonna say something?
that's just a go.
Yeah, don't worry. So I'm just gonna mention the last couple that I have. Other gods or other picks that I was thinking about were Thor, Osiris, Morrigan, and Raven. Makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Again, okay.
I like the Morgan idea, but once she uses her ult, that kind of takes away from the world championship theme skin. But yeah,
Yeah, I think that's her big issue in general with sort of these skins, like the team skins as well. That would be a big issue with her, I think. Unless they decided to just make a world championship skin for that team for every god.
which would be which would be kind of crazy.
It would be incredibly
Have
crazy.
it not release them to the world, just have it on her ultimate
Yeah,
for each god gets a championship skin because of yeah.
or just like
Still, that's
slap
a
a
lot of
T-shirt
design.
on every god and have it be a United T-shirt.
That's a lot of design.
Yeah,
A lot of design work.
it would be an unnecessary amount. Yeah. Moving on to the
So
next team.
yeah, if I'm right, Obey should be next, right?
Yeah.
Right. Who you got?
Okay, I'm gonna pick the second one here because the first one actually doesn't make too much sense. I would have Kabrakan because Salia. It's a good pick for him, and there's also like pretty easy ways you can display the logo, the Obey logo, right? You can have it on the tremors, just a giant fucking Obey logo, and you can also have it on the ult, and you can integrate it into the shield, right? I think his shields like grow if he has his passive going on, or his 2 has a passive, right? Passive effect where it stacks up.
They glow. Yeah,
They glow when it's full, right?
I believe if they're full and you have your one activated.
Okay. Well, either way, you can display the logo on there as well when that is active. And yeah, Cabra as a Guardian probably also going to be a decent pick at Worlds again.
I'm I chose Bracken too, but not for Obey, and for the exact same reasons you just listed.
Yeah, I
And
think I
spoiler
know who you
alert:
have him for.
if you're thinking Elevate, you would know. You
Yeah,
were right. So yeah, exact same reasons, but we'll save that for later. The Obey skin, I had two choices, and one of them was a mage, so you kind of know where I've already went with that. But just throwing that out there because I've already said one of them was a mage. I think Raijin would have been a good pick for the Obey skin. Um,
yeah,
the Thunder Crash, the drum beats on the floor, you can just have a Obey logo flowing through the air at
yeah.
the opponent. But you know, I went instead of Raijin, I went with Jingwei
Mm,
because I think, of course, Ataraxia, um, EmilZy and Ataraxia kind of have those Drew Carey, Superman, Clark Kent type glasses. And so you can put a pair of those on her, thick, black framed, nerdy glasses. And, you have a leather jacket with her wings poking out with the Obey logo. If you got kind of the blue and black and white skirt, when she ults, she can just leave a giant Obey logo on the ground where she ults, or she
yeah,
can throw out multiple Obey logos. I think it's called Persistent Gus, which is the funnel from the ground. That can be an Obey logo. She can, with her explosive bolts, when they shatter and they have that kind of that effect to show that they're shattering, hitting multiple targets. You can have a kind of an Obey logo there. And I thought that theme of skin for Jingwei would work because Yeah, it's one of Ataraxia's favorite gods, and we've seen her be really picked a whole lot at lands, where she's probably not picked as much online, but she is at lands, and so there's an option there. So I went with Jingwei for the base again.
Yeah, makes sense. It was also one of the picks that I had for Ataraxia, in addition to Huyi and Izanami. Huyi, for reasons mentioned already, right? There's a lot of easy ways to sort of integrate the design on him, and on Izanami you can also do it on the ult, right? You can also, similarly to Raijin, add it on the 2. And yeah. And they're also, again, hunters. Hunters should be good at the World Championship as well. Other options that I had was Hell for EmilZy, right? You can sort of make a light and black, a light and the dark Obey logo, and use both of them in the different stances on the 2 and the 3, which are both big circle attacks. And yeah, if again, it's a big flavor pick for EmilZy, right? He's the only one who's still bringing her out in support. So it would be sort of interesting to see that as well. And if they win Worlds due to it, it would make a lot of sense. Other option would also be Ganesh for EmilZy again. Would also work. You can display the logo inside the ult, because it's a bit more of a square than most other logos anyway, right? And you can also display it in the silence area.
I like the Ganesh. I thought about the Ganesh. I didn't think about the who was it? Who else did you say?
Hell.
Yeah, I didn't think. I considered Hill, but I thought with the two stance switches and 2 different skins, I thought that might not. I think that might be asking too much, but I did consider Ganesh or EmilZy.
Yeah.
But I think I considered Ganesh more for Dardes than I did EmilZy. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can see why that would make sense. And on the list as well, I had Raijin, and with a sort of asterisk, Vulcan, because obviously he already has a skin for Pretty Prime. But if Prime carries Worlds with him,
I consider Vulcan too, but I was like, that's probably too easy.
Yeah.
I gotta give myself a challenge. I can't Pretty Prime Vulcan. There we go.
Again, if he carries Worlds with it, then it would make sense. But that's the only way it would make sense. Yeah. On to the next team in that case, which is Luminosity. Here, I'm not sure if I still agree with the one I have at the top. Because at the top I used to have Morrigan. Now I'm probably going for Fafnir again, because it's also a great pick for Chef, just as it is for Kalas, right? And for the same reasons as mentioned already for Kalas.
Yeah, I had trouble with the Luminosity one as well. I thought.
Oh wait, I forgot one for Obey. I'm an idiot. Okay, one with a massive asterisk that I had for Obey as well was Ratatosker. Because
I could see that Twig. Yeah. But he kind of already has a world championship.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Eager console.
Yeah, that's the big issue that I see with making another Ratatosker skin. Outside of that, it would be a great pick as well. Anyway, back to Luminosity. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there were a couple gods that I thought could be good for the Luminosity. Poseidon was the first one for Baskin that came to mind. Aquarius with the chalk, I thought might be a good choice. I even considered Bacchus for Jeff Hindla.
Yeah.
But I think, and it's kind of stupid because he already has a Luminosity themed skin, but Susanoo would be a good choice. Because even though Mask is not really Susanoo doesn't get to see a lot of play. Mask is still one of the guys that bring him out. constantly, and plenty of opportunity for the logo there. You can, the hat, the straw kind of Japanese hat could be like a Luminosity logo on top of it. You throw it out with his two, or the tornado being a Luminosity ult. And so I also consider Uller as maybe a pick for Barracuda. I thought that would be cool. So I guess I don't know. Susanoo, I guess, would probably be my choice, even though he already has a Luminosity skin. I think it would look really cool.
Yeah.
They could do a lot of stuff with the Susanoo skin that would make it look really cool. And of course, if you've seen Mask's Twitch profile picture, it's a Susanoo picture.
Yeah.
So when he's streaming on Twitch, it's like a Susanoo profile picture. So there you go.
Yeah, other gods that I was considering were the Morrigan again, but again with the same issues as with who did we mention it for? United, yeah. Then also the Bacchus, right? I think Bacchus would be a nice idea as well. You can obviously display the logo on the belly flop and the ult as well. You can put it on the boost that he carries around with him. Who wouldn't like some luminosity boost? And yeah, if they bring him out, especially like if he has an impact, it could make sense. Another god that I was considering was Hercules for Aquarius, because I think Chalk isn't his best god. I think it's Herc by quite a large distance.
Throw out the boulder and have it be a gigantic luminosity circle boulder.
Yeah, just make it a luminosity beach ball. Just a chime one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll see.
And he has like a sort of display, sort of icon whenever he uses the driving strike already. Anyway, right? Like some sort of graphic on the front. You can turn that into a luminosity logo as well. Good work.
Yeah. Yeah. I see the shoulder drive on the. What was it called again? You just said it. Driving strike. Kind of shoulder push. Kind of like you can, like these old animes, like when they're charging and they got that key around them, and it's like a circle shooting back above. Yeah. Kind of like that. I get it. I get you. I see it. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, Ratatoskr would make sense for Mask, but same issue as before. On her, you could do for Barracuda, right? If he brings him out a lot. Chingwei, same thing. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going, okay, switching from Uller. Instead of a Uller skin for Barracuda, he's trolled the past two worlds with this pick trolling, and now it's finally in meta. So why not just give it a Barracuda themed skin if they win worlds to AMC?
Yeah, could make sense as well.
He's trolled the last two worlds by hovering over that and then changing it.
Well, he did play it in the first one.
Meta, like, now that AMC is meta, just give it to him. I'm like, there you go.
Has he played a lot of AMC since it's become meta?
I think he's been the one guy that's kind of shied away from it, but just the fact that he's trolled the past two worlds with hovering over that and then switching at the last second.
Well, if he does play it, then sure. And yeah, then I have just a lot of other gods here down there as well, like as footnotes. Sol already has a skin anyway, but good god for Baskin. Serket, Robin, Kukulkan, RTO.
We forgot about Toth. We could probably pick Toth for a couple people.
Yeah,
Toth.
Sure.
Baskin, that would be good skin for Baskin. I mean,
Yeah,
The
true.
Ultimate had just a giant LG logo flying at you.
You could put it
Yeah,
on the wall, like transparently, as well.
that'd be more that'd be more for Giannis though. With the portals, hey, it's an
Yeah,
LG logo. Let me go through the
true,
LG logo.
true. You just
But
go
Madison
through it
doesn't
and
play
become a part of
LG.
LG.
Yeah, that'd be funny. You go through it and you get a little E or a LG hat for a couple seconds.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
LG
brilliant, man.
LG baseball cap every time you go through a LG portal.
But again, they would have to do that for every god.
Yeah, yeah. But it'd be
Okay,
funny though.
just imagine Ares with an LG hat on his helmet.
Like the Elevate Aries, like he's wearing the Elevate logo on his chest, and then he comes through with the LG or any other skin in the game, like any other team skin. Like what is it? Who got the Awilix skin? Was it?
Wait, there's not a... Oh,
Was
Paradigm. Paradigm.
Yeah, Paradigm jersey comes through with an LG hat. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, those,
hire me. Plenty of skin I did.
yeah. So those are all of mine for Luminosity. Let's move on to the next team on the list, which is Energy. And yeah, my big pick there, I think it's almost a bit obvious, is 4. Because
God,
adapting. Is it yours as well?
yes, it was the one skin that I was pretty sold on it being the Thor Energies World Championship.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Explain
mean,
it, I'll explain a different one.
you already have the emote with the humping the Thor hammer from Raffer last year.
Yeah.
Circles, plenty of circles. It's adapting one of adapting's best gods. I mean, the red and black color scheme of energy. He already has a skin with the rocker Thor, heavy metal Thor, I think is what it's called. But that's a black and red color scheme. So, that works already. The landing off his ult, the three, the in the wind. I can't think of the name. He had energy there, but the the wall, just a giant wall of energy, like a brick wall with like the. You think of the you see like these famous rock bars with all the plasters and stuff on the wall, and it's just covered in it. Just have it all just like energy logos and stuff like that. And when you hit somebody with the double tap, going out, it applies an energy logo to them, and coming back in, it applies an energy logo to them. Like, yeah,
Yeah. That would like that's also what I was thinking, honestly. And you can even put the logo on the hammer itself, right? They did it with Chronos, and Force Hammer is big enough that you can sort of put a small energy logo there as well. And I think he's going to be a good pick for adapting as well at Worlds. Like if they win, I'm pretty certain that he's going to bring it out at least once. Because it's not like I don't think it's likely that it's going to be banned away all the time. So I could see it playing a role in them winning another World Championship title. And other gods that I was considering, another one for adapting because, well, just to maybe explain this a bit, right? Adapting, he has been the best player in the world for like 1.5 years now, well, he was for like 2 years in a row the best player in the world, almost unquestionably. He should sort of have a skill like this. And so another god that could see them giving him one for is Serket, because he's also got a nasty Serket. And you can sort of put the logo onto the leap as well, right? The leap's not often used defensively maybe, but you can still have a small area being printed in the ground whenever he leaps, or you can have it there, the logo when he leaps away, so that you just get pissed whenever he leaps away from you. You can't kill him because he's a Serket. He's now like 70 units away. You can't chase, and there's an energy logo in the ground. And what you could do as well is just the ult, when it spreads, like it can again imprint an energy logo in the ground. And even for the Cobra's Kiss, right, her madness taunt thingy, you could like shoot out tiny energy logos, which would look cute. And yeah, that would be EnderCheese or Cat. What do you think?
I like the idea of when she ults and maybe when the poison detonates and kills somebody, it spreads to other people. There's like a giant or like a red puff or a red cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
Because red and black the energy, a red cloud of smoke where the person died with the energy logo on the ground, and then like red smoke coming off of everybody that spreads to. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and you have an indicator on the target that is poisoned already anyway, right? So you could have an energy logo there as well. I forgot to mention that. And yeah, then for other options that you could make a skin for energy, would be for Osiris, right? So Osiris also has the two circles with the spirit flail and with the ult, which I think is called Lord of the Afterlife, just like a style. And the weapon he has, right? He has I don't know what it's called actually. Is it a sickle?
Yeah, the sickle and the spirit flail or the flail.
Yeah, so like we already have the Chrono skin with the energy logo integrated into the weapon that he has, right? You could do a similar thing for the sickle that Osiris is carrying around.
Another, it just came to me.
Yeah.
Another possible one for Mask on Luminosity, which is kind of out of meta right now, but Camazots, and not so much. The only problem I would see with the Camazots is, yes, the pulls on the ground can have like the Luminosity logo, like only you and your teammates going to see it. Like your opponents aren't going to see the pulls on the ground. So.
Well, only you actually, because teammates can't see the pulls either.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but I can still see.
I've played Camazots 3 times, and that was only enough to get him to not one of my favorite guys. So, I don't know how he works, but yeah. You're a jungler. You might play more than I do.
Yeah, well, I don't play too much Conquest anymore. And also, I've always been terrible at Camazots. Like, it's not been good. Yeah, other picks I have for energy would be a couple for Raffer, like ones I've already mentioned in Ganesh, Fafnir, and Sylvanas. And then, wait, who do I have there? Also have Cabrakan, Kokolon, and Artio, which would sort of be mixed between Maniac, Raffer, and Adapting again. And if you really want to go back to Yaman and Emilito and give them a skin again, you could go for Zeus and Uller respectively, right? Because Uller's probably going to be really good at Worlds, and we already know that Emilito can play him. And Zeus has been brought out by Yaman in the wildcard bracket, and he's had success there. And obviously, lots of big circles there as well that you could put the energy logo on. So yeah, and that's my list for energy. So let's move on to the last team that is going to be at Worlds out of NA and EU, which is Elevate. And yeah, I guess you already said that your top pick here would be Cabrakan, right?
Yeah, for a lot of the same reasons you listed him earlier. I think the logo. Instead of like carrying around 2 shields, he can just carry around 2 halves of the logo. And so when he slams them together on his 2, it's just the logo. And
oh, I love that.
You know how the giant, how the logo is basically a mountain, like a giant red mountain.
Yeah.
Well, on his ultimate, he can just have like 5 giant red mountains instead of 5 like other walls. The walls can be red mountains, or you can just have it like 5 little pieces that come together to create the red mountain of the Elevate logo.
That would
And
be great.
the Elevate logo when he's using his trimmers, and like you can do kind of like the Nerd Rage Cabrakan style skin where he's got that ripped shirt, but instead of like the suspenders and stuff, he can have like some Elevate, like a ripped Elevate jersey in places. Got the yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Like, I didn't even think that far with him.
I also thought Terra might be a good one. Kind of, the Connor's Cure skin with the theme, having it, since Dardes, used to play a lot of Terra. So, just kind of recolor that skin. She has walls on her too, and the monolith could be an Elevate type theme on the ground and stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Cabrakan was a lot cooler. I thought Cabrakan would be a lot cooler for Chariot.
Yeah. If I was gonna go for, or if I'm going for a Dardos skin, right? The god I would go for is definitely Nox as well, because Nox also has the giant silence field where you could easily put in an Elevate logo instead. You have the ult, which basically you could throw another Elevate styled blob at people, and something that I would think really would be really interesting, right? You know how when she shadow steps into someone, it has this sort of black effect on people.
Yeah.
You could combine that with the remaining colors that are used in the Elevate logo, which are red and white. So you just have sort of all of them mixed together when you're shadow stepped into someone.
Kind of like the Nox skin that you got for the Underworld theme reward. Kind of like when she goes, it's like black and red, like little.
Yeah.
What are they? Black and red little digital squares, like building blocks around them. Yeah. But instead of like black and red, like digital blocks, kind of like little Elevate logos. Yeah.
Yeah, and another god that I have on the list as well is Hui for Death Panther, and for Jermaine a bit as well. And yeah, we've already talked about him, obviously, with how you could integrate it there. As something that I'm not sure if we've mentioned it already, like, how he has the mark of the Golden Crow, right? That he can put on someone.
Yeah.
You could turn that into an Elevate logo as well, which would be kind of neat. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, obviously it should be a decent pick at Worlds as well, because he is a hunter and he's one of the best hunters, probably still, even after the nerf. I expect him to be picked quite a lot. And yeah, same thing for the ones we've mentioned already, really, with Cabrakan and with Nox. Like, Nox is just a massive flavor pick again. And another one that we could go for would be Athena, again for Cherio, because it's basically his best god.
Bing Shin for no numbers would be good.
Yeah, I have that one on the list as well.
With instead of the shield that Xing Shin carries around, just have an Elevate shield. Like,
yeah, just make the same, do it the same way as the Ares skin,
Well, not like the Ares skin where it's the Ares shield with the logo on it. Just the shield be the logo.
Yeah.
The giant Elevate circle with the red mountain and the white outline, just right there, being that Xing Shin shield.
Think about it. If they have Ares and Xing Chen both on the same team, they're just going to be running towards you with two Elevate style shields.
See, but that shield I was talking about, that kind of is what pissed me off about the Ares skin. I know it's just the team skin, it's not like a championship skin, but I would have liked to see the shield be just the logo instead of the Ares shield with the logo. That's what I didn't like about it originally. I understand why they did it.
Yeah, I just don't think it fits if you I don't think it fits if you just make it the logo, because the shield's it's not the same sort of general shape as the Elevate logo, right?
Well, neither is the Cabrakan shield, but you can just have it like two giant circles slamming together, or two half circles slamming together to make the shield.
Yeah, but like Ares is a bit different still. So, and yeah, other gods that I have would be. Let me go through the list again. Artio, Fafnir, Ymir, Geb. Again for Cherio, Numbers, and Dardes, because those are pretty much gods that they all could theoretically play, right? Except maybe Fafnir and Geb solo. I mean, Numbers is not Deathwalker. And if you want to go for one for Death Panther and her main, you could go for Anhur, Ram, Uller, AMC, or Hachiman. Right, those are all picks that both of them I think can play well. And yeah, again with Ram, same issue as before. And yeah, also last on the list, I have Scylla.
For Death Panther?
Yeah.
You're just Elevate in general.
For Death Panther.
Just for Death Panther. Okay. Like,
But
you're throwing a shade back to Melissa now.
Well, I'm just... Nah. Like, throwing shade at Melissa would have been if I had suggested a Yana skin for Death Panther. Yeah. But anyway, Scylla was meant to be sarcastic anyway, you know, because he didn't play it well at Super Regionals.
Well, if that's the case, let's give Raffer the Circat skin. Well, I guess that doesn't matter because Energy would get the Circat skin anyway.
Yeah.
Never mind. Forget what I just said. Never mind.
Yeah. Not sure what else there is to talk about now. Like, honestly. This is our main topic for the evening. And we've kind of just rushed through
Kind of. But we're still going on, what, 2 hours? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we talked like 50 minutes about the news.
Well. What else you want to talk about? You want to talk about the adventure mode?
I haven't even played the adventure mode, so no.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much.
Yeah. You just need to find people to grind it with, I guess. That's what I did the last time around. Like, I had just someone who had played all the way through it, through Trials of Hercules, just completely lead me through hard mode, and we still fucked up like 4 times.
I just need idiots, or not idiots, that can do the first part with the gate in the ice and the sledding across the ice. You haven't played it, but people who are listening don't know what part I'm talking about. Yeah. So pick up the apple, you run to the chain, you blow up the chain, it opens the door. You have to do it like 4 times before it opens the door.
Yeah.
But when you're running the apple, you have to run across ice, and if you don't hit the ice completely right to where you bounce off the back wall and keep going, you're just going to fucking slide off the ice and kill yourself. But you can't do it with 2 people. You have to have 2 people in the middle clearing out the ads and stuff, and you have to have 1 person running the apple. The guy running the apple slips and falls off. Well, you might as well just kill yourself if you're the 2 in the middle, because there's no freaking way you can do it by just the 2.
Sounds great.
I have gotten there like 500,000 times, and I always have somebody fall off, and I'm just like, okay. But,
yeah. I saw someone use tier ult to get over the gap, and then try and just go on. Like you can apparently tier ult like almost all the way to the end, and then he still fell down. So
yeah, but I've seen past that part maybe 3 times in about the 40 or 45 times I've played that.
Oh,
of
that
people
sounds
keep
terrible.
falling off the ice, and I was just like, ah. And
Just
it's
tell
it's
them
a
that you're going to be
6,000
doing it.
second respawn, so there's no point of waiting it out. The game's over if you wait out the respawn.
6,000 seconds. Wait, how much is
Yeah.
that? Okay, that's 100 minutes, yeah.
Like if you later when you have people with a lot of gear, a lot of in content gear instead of the beginner gear that you get for just like farming that crap over again. I imagine you can do it with two people, but where I'm at right now, so that I have to continue to get the items for, I don't have the items to survive. And after you finish that part I was talking about is when you get another item. And
Yeah.
well, if I only get past that part 3 out of every 50 times I run it, then there's like it's going to take me forever to get enough gear to do that by myself.
Yeah, you only get a tier 1 item anyway, right?
Yeah, you don't get like a tier 3 item. You don't have 6 tier 3 items. You get a tier 1 item. But you get that tier 1 item and you start getting gold for the tier 2 item and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to play it eventually, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. I think I'll just see if I can get some people to play with me.
That's your best bet. Try to find somebody with all the gear, just run you through it all.
Yeah. Oh, that was another issue last time with the last adventure, where we didn't even like. Again, it was one friend showing it to two of us how to get through hard mode, and we didn't even have all the items you needed at the start.
Well, I did. You didn't. I had all the items.
I'm talking about someone else already, you know.
You're not talking about you, me, and Psycho?
No, we didn't make it through hard mode, did we?
We made it to the Hydra.
Yeah, but
me and Psycho had all the stuff. I don't think you had all the stuff. I don't think you played that whole up at the time. We had to go through it.
Yeah, I didn't. And so I still didn't have all the items when I played with another friend of mine. And when we tried to go through it again as 3 people, and only he had all the items, and we still had like me and the other guy still had to get like Bloodforge or something. And yeah, that was a nightmare as well. Like even getting through hard modes, like through the different stuff, without all items already completed. But we managed to do it in the end, which was good. And we managed to beat the Hydra. But I only ever beat it once.
I beat it twice. So, yeah. Hey, we just revealed how bad we suck at this game.
Well, I only tried it like 10 times. 1 out of 10 is not terrible, is it? Anyway. Is there anything else we want to say?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, me as well. So, I guess that's it from the Tuesday Night Smite podcast for this week.
Wait. Is that how you're going to end it? Like, oh, I guess that's it. Huh?
Yeah. No, I was...
We have a little bit more pomp and circumstance than that?
Okay, I was going to say something more, if you let me talk.
Okay, talk. Do it with
Next
a little bit
week.
more energy.
Next week,
There you go.
we will most likely have a guest.
Oh my god, who is it?
We will announce it not now, but at some other point in time. Probably next week. Because again, it's most likely that we'll have a guest. Not 100% guaranteed. But look forward to it. Should be exciting.
It's totally ain't it. You're going to have me and totally fight it out, aren't we?
No, it's not totally. That much I can tell you. yeah, so tune in next week as well. And an easy way to make sure that you can tune in next week is by subscribing to the channel on YouTube, or by following us on SoundCloud, or by following us on Twitter, which you should do anyway, even if you subscribe to YouTube or follow on SoundCloud. And if you enjoyed this week's episode, you can leave us a like on the platform of your choosing. You can also leave us a like on both platforms if you're that nice. And yeah, thank you all for enjoying this podcast this week. And thank you, Sabo, for being here with me today to record this thing. And with all that said, good night, good Smite.
We're going to have a